Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt, and one of the biggest complaints I had about Obama during his 8 years was the forcing of Title IX on colleges. That if they did not almost what feels like fabricate instances where Title IX could be used, they would lose federal funding. And as a result of that, we have seen allegations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, and rape go up insanely high amounts. And as a result of that, it becomes a kangaroo court. Due process gets totally fucking screwed. And sometimes this happens where a student commits suicide after being denied due process and sexual harassment case. And I really wish I was making this up, but I'm not. It says here that a Texas student committed suicide after campus officials denied to grant him due process. The organization states that the University of Texas at Arlington, student Thomas Klocke, was accused in May 2016 of sexually harassing a gay peer by writing "gays should die" on his computer during class. Investigators reportedly acknowledged that there was no evidence to support the student's claim. Further, Watchdog, which is another website, states that Klocke not only denied the incident, but gave a completely different version of what happened. So again, this is very much a he said versus he said scenario. Two parties in a scenario, each having a different story. This is where you'd want to, I don't know, actually hold a court or hold a trial or hold a meeting or hold whatever the fuck in order to put it all out there on the table and to, let the accuser let the accused face his accuser. But that's not what happened here. Klocke stated that on that day, the accuser made unwanted sexual advances towards him. Klocke reportedly refused, telling his soon-to-be accuser that he was straight. Now, the lawsuit that's going against University of Texas at Arlington was filed by Klocke's father, who is an attorney, who claims that the student that went on to accuse Klocke, out of fear he might wind up getting being accused of sexual misconduct. So think about that just for a second. The father of the boy who committed suicide, this is his interpretation of it, probably based on conversations he had with his son before the suicide. And that gives such an interesting take on it, right? You've got this guy, this gay student, claiming sexual harassment, and the father turns around and says, yeah, well, he's afraid that he only made the claim because he was afraid of being accused of sexual harassment himself. And I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. That feels like something that's way out there. But again, we never really got the opportunity to see this thing play out in a court, because what happens next is just absolutely fucked up. So the accuser, instead of contacting support services with his claim, which is what he was told after he went and spoke with the professor after the class, he reached out to Associate Vice President of Student Affairs Heather Snow, with whom the student had a close relationship. This is Heather Snow, clearly looking into the depths of hell, whatever also is on her phone. And it says the accuser was close enough to Snow to refer to her by her first name at times. And Snow quickly became the accuser's advocate, helping him draft a complaint against Klocke and conducting the disciplinary procedure without following the school's Title IX policies. So, okay, the accuser, the gay student, goes to this teacher, this administrator, of which he is very tight with. The administrator helps him write the complaint and then advocates for him, and then is in charge of conducting the disciplinary procedure. How is that even remotely fucking fair? Right? It's just not. It's so goddamn bullshit. So, in the lawsuit, Klocke's father reportedly claims that the University of Texas Title IX coordinator was not briefed on the situation, despite Snow insisting it was sexual harassment. The watchdog states that this is a direct violation of the university's policy regarding sexual misconduct, which it makes sense that it would be against that. That the Title IX coordinator wasn't even briefed on a Title IX claim. How is that allowed, right? But clearly, the advocate for the accuser is really trying to make this whole thing go a particular way. That's what it feels like to me. Again, this is a one-sided story. but that's what I'm taking from it. Because the Title IX coordinator was not aware of the situation, no proper investigation was conducted. As a result, Klocke received no hearing and no standard legal protection, which I think that's probably the basis of the lawsuit here. It's Title IX was filed, a complaint was filed against Klocke. He was not given, he wasn't given any information regarding that. No proper investigation was conducted. He wasn't given his rights in terms of what happens when a Title IX is filed. So, I mean, feels like he's just being railroaded by the system. And so Watchdog states that Klocke was ultimately told he could not contact anyone in the class the alleged incident took place in, basically denying him the ability to find a witness to corroborate his story. It wasn't so much that he wasn't allowed to not contact anyone in the class. He also was not allowed to attend the class, period. So, I mean, that's basically just completely fucking locking this dude off. Not allowed to contact any of the students in the class for to be a witness, completely blocked off from conducting his own investigation and gathering his own witnesses and his own evidence to defend himself. That is, it feels like such a violation of his rights. Now, the accuser, on the other hand, was allowed to communicate with class members. Even then, he could not find a witness to fully corroborate the story. Ultimately, Snow and the UTA's Associate Director of Academic Integrity, Daniel Moore, reportedly placed Locke on disciplinary probation for the rest of his time at the school. Such a punishment would be placed on Klocke's disciplinary record, preventing him from attending grad school as he planned. Now, keep in mind, just to give you a bit of a backstory on this particular thing, why it was important to Klocke. They were taking a summer course so he could graduate early to go into this grad school. So he was very much trying to get his life on track early, and this derailed everything, which makes it even more fucking tragic. Just days after receiving the word of his punishment, he took his own life. Because think about that. And like, I get that. This is a kid in college. He is working very hard to get himself to that next phase, to get himself a good job, to be able to pay off his student loans. And he gets this accusation, gets run through a shitty ass fucking kangaroo court. His Title IX rights are absolutely fucking violated. An administrator is advocating for the accuser, basically completely moving around the subject as it works, or around the policies in place. And this kid feels his entire life is over because of almost what could be argued as a misunderstanding or a turn down. The way that the student does it, the accuser phrases it, is that Klocke, said you should kill yourself for being gay. But the way Klocke says it is like, the gay student was hitting on him and he told him, no, I'm straight. And they did that through writing it in their web browser, and that's what brought the whole thing on. So to me, it feels like almost maybe like a miscommunication or misunderstanding, or maybe just when it could have just been fucking shit talking. They could have been memeing it, They could have been like fucking 4channing it, like, oh, you should just kill yourself or whatever. Like, you hear that a lot from the younger generation. They don't actively mean kill yourself, but it's like it could be anything like that. But we have no way of ever getting to the bottom of this and knowing the truth, or at least figuring out the best version of the truth to determine whether or not Klocke is telling the truth, or if he actually did tell that student to go kill himself. But it says here, earlier this month, Klocke's father filed a lawsuit against the university for failing to follow proper procedure handling the situation. The suit names the University of Texas and Nicholas Matthew Watson as defendants. I'm assuming that Nicholas Matthew Watson is the person, the accuser. It claims the actionable misconduct of UTA and Watson foreseeably injured Thomas, causing him immense embarrassment, the destruction of his reputation, and severe mental anguish and pain, all of which casually led to Thomas's self-inflicted death on June 2nd, 2016. Less than a month after the accusation, he killed himself. Less than a month after the accusation. That is, like I said at the beginning of this video, that is very much a big problem with what the Obama administration did in that regard. And I liked Obama as a president, but I was never in favor of that. I was never in favor of that shit. Because that forcing of Title IX, that it almost feels like a quota. You have a Title IX quota is what it felt like to me. It led to the rape hysteria on college campuses. That entire overblown scenario it's ruined more lives than it has saved. It has done more to damage male students than anything else, because they're not given the opportunity to face their accuser. In some cases, they've been told they can't face their accuser because it could bring up old memories of what happened. It could have flashbacks to what happened. And that is no bueno, and they can't handle that, and that's not fair to them. And it's like, you're making an accusation. You have a right, like if an accusation is made against you, you have a right to face your accuser, but not on college campuses and not over this. And we've seen situations where a woman has, assaulted a drunk man, blew him without his permission while he was drunk, then claimed he raped her, got him suspended or got him kicked out of school. He has, had text messages uncovered that basically said that she admitted to not raping him, that she wasn't raped, and that she essentially raped him. Presented that to the school. Nothing against her, and they won't let him back in, even though there's evidence from her own phone that she did this. And that's how fucked up it is. These schools cannot admit fault in this regard, one way or the other, and that is, and I would argue, heavily in part due to the Title IX forcings from the Obama administration. And I would love it if Trump would revisit this issue to maybe pull it back a little bit, pull back those restrictions or those forcings, that quota, if you will, in order to get fucking actual fair representation, due process on college campuses. Because that way, if that could have happened, if people would have followed fucking procedure, then maybe Thomas Klocke would still be alive and wouldn't have killed himself due to embarrassment of an accusation he had no way of defending himself against. And that is more tragic than anything else in this particular case. So to the family of Thomas Klocke, I wish you the best of luck in your lawsuit, and I really hope you fucking stick it to the school. And I hope this makes its way all the way up the chain of command to the fucking Oval Office, because this is an epidemic, but not the epidemic that you would, like Kirby Dick would have you believe with the documentary he produced, The Hunting Ground, or all the hysteria shit that you see on college campuses. It's almost the other way around. It's an epidemic on due process, on people having the right to defend themselves. It's an epidemic about that, and that needs to be stopped. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Mundane Matt. If you guys haven't already, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, check back daily for more content from me. I will talk to you guys later. If you haven't already, check out the Patreon. If you want to help support the channel that way, you can do that. Amazon affiliate links really helps out as well. The YouTube ad apocalypse is fucking horrible. And check out my movie news channel, 3 Buck Theater. Check out my vlog channel, MundaneChats. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a good one, and peace out.